Hey everybody, I'm John.
And I'm Natalie, and we are American Tifosi. This is our brand new podcast. We're talking about everything F1. We want to start off with talking about who we are, what we love about F1, our predictions for the season, and a lot more. So let's get into it.
Sounds good. So I am John, I'm Natalie's stepdad. I have been a huge F1 fan since my most recent deployment when I was introduced to Drive to Survive. And now I love it because it makes me get up early in the morning. I love the strategy, the science. Um, I love making fun of Martin Brundle's grid walk. Um, And I love just watching the excitement of people getting their elbows out and fighting clean. Yeah,
Yeah, so John is my stepdad, and right now I'm actually in Italy. I've been a fan of Formula One for maybe 2 years, I think, at this point. Um, And I actually really like Martin Brundle and his grid walks, so that's where we differ on that. But I actually have the opportunity to go to the Spanish Grand Prix this year, which I'm really excited about. Um, and I love F1 for all of its viewing pleasures, cars, men, the sport.
yeah.
I love the tension. I love the tension in the races, whatever. So yeah, huge fans over here. Um,
Realistically, Natalie was watching. She came out to watch a Formula One race with me at Monaco, and she saw a picture of Charles, and that was that.
That was that. He is what originally hooked me, but now I am really a genuine fan. So I
True.
have you, John, and Charles Leclerc to thank for that.
Okay, so
Yeah.
oh, go ahead, Nat.
No, yeah, I was just going to talk about expectation management for this series. We're not experts. Like I said, I started watching F1 because of Charles Leclerc. So yeah, John is a little more on the science analytics side. Um, if you want to say more about that.
Yeah, so I would just say that I do love the science. I like qualification the best. I love watching FP1, 2, and 3. Not a huge fan of the sprints, but Formula One is Formula One, so I love watching it. I love watching and getting nerding out on it. However, I am not an expert. I'm not a journalist. I don't have access. I've never been to a race. I learn what I do from, or I learn what I know from people way smarter than me that have a lot more access to me. So for me, it's just fun to be an American Tifosi.
Yeah, me too. I have been to the Monaco track or quote unquote track. It's the street, but that was really enjoyable for me. Um, and I haven't been to a race yet either, but I will be going later, late May, early June to the Spanish Grand Prix. Let's talk about our
We're
favorite
going to
teams.
Monza. We're going to Monza, but
Oh,
not the
we are?
race.
Yes, yeah, we are
We're,
actually going to be couple weeks
we're
we're going to the Monza track and they do bike tours around it, which is going to be really exciting. We'll be taking a bike around the Monza track, so that'll be
I'm getting
exciting.
DRS and somebody.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about your favorite team?
Sure. Yeah. So, a long time ago when I was a NASCAR fan, a friend told me that I just need to choose somebody. So I applied that to knowledge and I just chose Ferrari. But I hate being accused of being a bandwagon jumper. So I'm still Ferrari. But now with all the love on them, it's hard for me to only put my eggs in the Ferrari basket. So I've liked McLaren for a little while, but again, I don't like being a bandwagon jumper. So
Right.
this year, I'm pretty solidly in the Williams camp. Plus, I love James Vowles. Now,
Yeah. Honestly, pretty much same on all of those teams. Ferrari has been my number one. I think it'll forever stay my number one. Even if Charles leaves Ferrari, I still will consider them my number one. I will say
liar.
after last season, not well, whatever team Charles is on plus Ferrari.
Sounds better.
But but I will say since last season, definitely McLaren is coming up. But again, about being a bandwagon. Nobody likes being a bandwagon, but sometimes, bandwagons happen for a reason. They exist for a reason. So I understand the hype around McLaren. And then Williams for me, but really only because Carlos is over there. If Carlos were to jump ship, I would probably change that answer.
if we get a bunch of viewers besides our family, Carlos is Carlos Sainz and Charles is Charles Leclerc, just so you guys know. Um,
Yes.
Another reason I like McLaren is because my first Lego set from Natalie was
Oh,
McLaren.
yeah.
And you get to call papaya a color, and they have papaya rules, which is kind of weird.
I love papaya rules. Papaya rules, I love it. I
They talked about it in
everything about
practice last night.
McLaren. Yeah, I did see that in the practice one. Zach Brown was talking about that. Again, one of my favorite team principles. I don't know. McLaren is just, I think they're really good at media. I think they're really good with interacting with fans, which I really appreciate.
So, what
Um,
about your favorite drivers besides Charles?
oh, that's hard because he is my number one, but I'm gonna say Carlos Sainz as well, of course. Um, I, at the risk of sounding like a bandwagon, I'm gonna say Lando, and also Oscar. I think nobody. I feel like people don't talk about Oscar enough, but I'm gonna say Oscar for sure. I think he's really a nice guy, and he interacts well with his teammate. Besides that one incident last, besides that incident last season, but I really like Oscar, Carlos, and Charles. I would say are my top three. What about you?
So, just so everybody knows, we made these race notes because we don't know what the heck we're doing. And in my race notes, I'm supposed to say I like Charles because he's so damn fine. I've always liked Charles. I liked him because he was from Monaco. I liked it because he was the first driver to win from Monaco, I believe. Certainly the most recent to podium in forever. You get to say
Most recent,
Monegasque,
yeah.
which is pretty cool. Um, I really, really, really like Valtteri Bottas. He's not on the grid, but man, he's so self-deprecating. The calendar he made with him, like with Daisy Dukes on a bicycle. I mean, like it was just so
Yeah,
much fun.
I
I
should get you that.
No, it's from 2023, so it wouldn't be any good. Plus, um, I um, and I've also liked Lando, but to be fair, I've liked Lando before McLaren was good. I liked Lando
Mm,
when Daniel was with them, and all that controversy with Daniel and Oscar joining McLaren made me really like Lando because he had to ascend to the number one really fast.
yeah.
So I suppose I'd choose Lando, and then like you, Carlos is hard not to love. Everywhere he's gone, he's done
Hmm.
really well. He feels like he's kind of got the shaft. Although he didn't really, can't be mad at Ferrari. If Lewis Hamilton knocks on your door, you answer.
Right,
Um,
exactly. I know.
yeah,
Yeah, I think that it really hurt me to see Carlos leave Ferrari because Carlos and Charles are just my favorite duo. I'm so grateful that I got to see them as a team. But I do understand, it's Lewis Hamilton. If he wants to join Ferrari, he's joining Ferrari. So
yeah, he
I
could pretty
totally
much
get
go where
it.
he wants.
Exactly. Do you want to talk about your favorite track?
Sure, my favorite tracks are pretty simple, but it's a tight one too. That might change in a couple of weeks when we actually go, but Monza, just the kind of the history, the lineage, tradition of Monza. It was a racetrack before F1. It's been what do they call it? The Temple of Speed or Citadel of Speed or
Mm,
something like that. It's just it looks beautiful. And then I love Silverstone because it's got a little bit of everything. It's got a lot of DRS. It's got tight turns. Neither one of those tracks can be accused of being hard to pass on. So even in this era of wider cars, it's harder. It's still
hmm.
relatively easy to pass on these tracks. So you get good racing. Um, and as a small side note, being from the west coast of the United States, when those races are on, it's not like an obscene 4:30 in the morning race, as
You're
opposed
right.
to
Yeah.
as opposed to like when it's in Abu Dhabi or something like that.
Hmm.
So yeah. What about you?
Yeah. Um, I know this is a controversial take, but I'm going to say Monaco. I I know that it doesn't make for a very exciting race, but it does make for an exciting race when Lance Stroll causes a crash in that one hairpin, which I constantly think about. And with Charles' win at Monaco last season, that it really just solidified that as my favorite track. I think Charles' story through Monaco and with like the curse, I know he doesn't really like hearing that, but just seeing him be able to win on his home track was really something special. So it's become my favorite.
That Drive to Survive episode was pretty special, except the
It
whole him
was.
wearing all white and playing a piano was kind of weird. I mean, he was training as Elton John
You
or
know,
something. I'm not
I
sure.
I teared up from when they when he
You
won
teared
that
you
drag.
teared up
Yes.
because his waifu was there.
Oh, okay. I said, yeah. She also teared up. It was beautiful. I
There
teared
it
up for
was.
her. I teared up for him.
Mhm.
It was a really special moment. But yeah.
All right, so for our non-American Tifosi fans, we're going to talk about principals, and principals is a like a kind of like owner, but they're kind of like the manager of teams, or the manager of both drivers for a team. And there's one principal for all 10 teams. So Nat, what is your favorite principal or favorites principals?
I'm gonna say Zach Brown, except Zach Brown's not actually the team principal. I actually didn't realize that until recently. I thought Zach Brown was the team principal. I'm gonna count him as my favorite team principal. I know that he's not. If I have to choose a real team principal, it's gonna be Toto Wolff. I know that some people you either love him or you hate him, but I don't know. I like him. I like how he's handling George and Kimmy. I think honestly, it looks sweet, which I enjoy. I think it's fun. But yeah, I would say Zach Brown, but really Toto Wolff.
I'm going to say I disagree because Total Wolf's pompous. I like James Vowles for Williams, not because I'm becoming a Williams fanboy, but because uh, he's had to make really tough decisions and done them really well. So, like last year when they fired Logie Sarge halfway through the season because Logie Sarge was costing them more money than they can make, he did it really well. And then he picked a driver that was on no one's bingo card. He picked Franco
Mhm.
Colapinto, and no one had heard of him when they fired Logan Sargent. They're like, oh, who are they going to get? Are they going to try and get Kimmy? Are they going to get Bortoletto? Are they going to get
Right.
Colton Herta? They got this guy that nobody heard of, and then that guy killed it. Colapinto was
Yeah.
amazing last year, so such that he's already been poached by Alpine,
Hmm.
and we'll talk about that later. But he's managed Alex Albon. He's managed before Logie Sarge. There was Nicholas Latifi, and that was that's difficult for probably anybody to have. So I don't know. Yeah, I like James Vowles, and I really
Yeah.
I miss Gunther Steiner. So Gunther Steiner is
Oh,
probably
I
the
miss Gunther.
reason. So maybe one day we'll see him back on the grid, but he's doing a lot of cool things for Formula1.com, and so maybe he won't be a principal, but he deserves to be mentioned because he was pretty cool.
Yeah. I really miss him. I miss Gunther.
Yeah, me too.
So I would say those are the basics of our favorites. I think we can talk about now this season and maybe a few of our predictions of what we think is going to happen. Talk about the F175 Live liveries. Let's get into it.
Yeah. So are we gonna make a wager on our predictions?
Okay, what's the wager?
Let's see if we can get people to tell us what the wager should be. Because
Okay,
it's a
perfect.
year long, right? So it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So we'll see
Okay.
if we get some people to chime in and tell us what the because I was thinking, oh, we should do like some of us have to pay for Monza, but that's not going to be fair because
Yeah, that's too
that's in
soon.
2 weeks. Yeah, yeah. But liveries, so that those
Right.
of you guys that don't know, liveries are like the paint scheme of the cars. So every year Formula One does a really huge each team kind of unveils their livery, and it's considered a big deal. I'm not sure if it is or not, but to us, we like it to see what the new cars look like and see how much
Yeah,
paint is on there. So we're going to go quickly through what we think our favorite liveries were, and then maybe if they were notable to you or me, then we can talk about why. So why don't you kick us off, Matt?
perfect. Yeah, so we ranked all of them on a scale of 1 to 10. But I'm just gonna say my least favorite and my favorite, just for time. My least
Okay.
favorite livery, and I hate to say it because one of my favorite driver is in that seat, was the Williams. I don't like the large battery. I think it looks silly. I understand that you need to have different logos on the car, but I don't like the color. I don't like the battery on it. It's just I don't like it. I'm looking forward to seeing some special liveries, and maybe those will look a little better.
Okay.
Um,
So we're gonna have some hot takes here because Williams is one of my favorites. Not my favorite this year, but I actually love the battery because I love the play on it. It's supposed to be a battery operated car or an
Sure.
electrically operated car. So and Duracell is one of their chief sponsors, and I think it's just a really creative way to incorporate that. Unlike my least favorite car, which it pains me to say it, is Ferrari. Um,
Oh,
the what they've done to that car, basically all you have to do is make Ferrari good is just make it red
yeah.
with a yellow horse like that. Even that's not
Yeah.
even one of their best ones. But now
No.
you've got the Hewlett Packard logo over where the red or the yellow
Oh,
horse was.
right.
And there's too much white and blue doesn't belong in
Mm-hmm.
the Ferrari scheme. So to
Mm-hmm.
me, unfortunately, Ferrari is my least favorite, even though we are American Tifosi. What's
Right.
your favorite?
My favorite is, let's see, I said Alpine this year. I wouldn't say that I'm a big Alpine fan. I don't dislike them, but really those colors are absolutely beautiful. I don't know, the pink and the blue, it looks better than last year. I think I appreciate the shades they used this year. And I gave that one a 10. That was the only 10 I gave for this season.
Cool. I actually gave that one a 9, so I don't disagree. I love that the Alpine, for those of you who don't know, is not considered a strong team, a front running green. They're like a midfield team. And generally, the more color and paint you have on the car is the more weight you have in a car. So um, I give them huge props because they have a lot of color being blue and pink. It's bold, it stands out. The contrast works pretty well. They incorporated their primary sponsor in without like not to dig on Ferrari, but they incorporated their primary sponsor and made it look good. Unlike Ferrari incorporated their primary sponsor and made it actually look like a printer. So my favorite was
Yeah.
V-Carb for all the similar reasons I just said. I love V-Carb. They're the fact that they use all white. It looks like a Red Bull emblem. It looks like their old school ones back when
Hmm.
they were first starting off. They were awesome, or not them, but Red Bull. And again, they're the team that has the least amount of carbon fiber exposed, and they're a midfield team. So kudos to them. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I do like that one as well. Okay, let's talk about the big elephant in the room.
Let's do it.
Who do we think, predictions for the year, world champion 2025, 6?
2025. No, yeah,
Who do you
2025.
got?
In order from third to first, or is that what we're doing? Or are we doing all three?
Oh,
What do we do? Let me check my notes. Oh no,
I only have for the full year, I only have number one, but I
yeah,
have
yeah,
some
yeah. You're right.
predictions for the
Okay.
race. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. So, I choose Lando Norris. I think it's McLaren's year. I think he's learned from his mistakes last year. I think Lando's going to win the whole thing, and I don't think it's
Yeah.
going to be close.
I absolutely agree. I also chose Lando Norris. I did throw in a little sprinkle of or Max because, of course, he's been dominant. But I really do feel like it's Lando's year. I know that sometimes he has underperformed under pressure, but I think overall he's really strong. I think the McLaren car is really strong, very clearly. They won the constructors, but
Fastest in
I
practice
really
last
do.
night.
Yeah, I think Lando Norris is going to win it. We'll see, hopefully, but
More than anything, I hope for an exciting season. I hope it's not like
yeah.
2022 when Max or Red Bull won 22 of the 23 races. It was
Hmm.
like I just hope that it was. I hope it's a fun season, and I think it will be because it's next year's a regulation change.
Yeah, and so many rookies too out there. It's
Oh my
going to
gosh,
be
yeah.
exciting. I think
There's
rookies
only
and Lance Stroll, but
well, that
oh,
is. I thought you said you were going to talk crap.
I'm not. I'm not.
All right,
Yeah,
so
okay.
the next thing that's a big deal for you non-race fans that are just watching to support us and we appreciate it is the constructor. So that's a team, and the best team does not always the best driver does not always make the best team. For example, last year Max won the world championship, but McLaren won the constructors championship. So we're going to pick next as the constructors, and I've chosen Ferrari. That's my hot take. I think
That is a hot take.
yes, and yeah, I don't think there's much to say. I think they're going to be fast. Charles was fastest in FP2 last night, which doesn't really mean much, but they have probably combined the most successful experience on the team or on the grid. The only thing that I think will get in their way is if Charles and Lewis Hamilton kind of fight over who's the big
Yeah.
dog.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
Ferrari for constructors.
I went with McLaren again. They were really tough last year. They won last year. I do see the point about Ferrari. I know that all Tifosi fans are they have almost a false hope for Ferrari, but I see that hope in you, which I think is quite beautiful. I Ferrari is my favorite team, so I want them to win. I hope they win. My prediction is McLaren, though.
Fair. All right. Well, I'll make sure that you're not part of the Tifosi next year then.
No, after they win, yeah. Okay,
So,
so
yeah, go ahead.
next is it's just some oddball predictions we have out there. Our first one is first driver to lose their seat. We have a lot of rookies out there, a lot of people who need to try to prove themselves. And with all the switches last year, I think chances are someone may be losing their seat halfway through the season. So, who do you think that's going to be?
Well, I'm pretty sure we're going to choose the same person, but I think Jack Doohan is already like a dead man walking. They've already signed Colapinto. They've already said that they'll put Colapinto in. Colapinto was a reserve driver for Williams, and he got signed as a reserve driver for Alpine. Why would, why would he do that if he wasn't given some sort of guarantee that he would make a race, kind of like Liam Lawson last year? So I
Right,
think it's sooner rather than later. And I think unless Doohan does really, really, really well, which I don't think he's going to because Alpine's not a strong car.
right.
So I think it's going to be Doohan. I think if you're also going to pick Doohan, I'm going to throw a little caveat to you is we need to pick which race it happens by.
Oh dear. Okay. I was gonna say doing. I don't,
Oh, okay.
I don't think that it's his fault. I don't think he's a bad driver. Of course he's a good driver. He has a spot in F1, but they do have Colapinto as the reserve, and Colapinto's been splashing about in F1 a lot recently. So I don't know. I think just with Colapinto being his reserve, that might make it easier for Alpine to make that switch. Um, I think I heard somewhere it's like 6 races, so I'm gonna say within the first 7 or 8 races, if
I'm going
he
to say
doesn't
by race
performs
12.
perfectly, he's out. 12? Okay. I'm gonna
Yeah.
say 8, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. We'll keep an update on that.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. Uh,
Next, best rookie. There's
we
five,
could.
6 if you count Alonso.
Alonso's not a rookie. How would you figure Alonso? He's the oldest
Don't
guy on the
worry.
grid.
They call him a rookie. They call him a rookie.
Okay.
Um, you haven't seen that before?
No.
Alonso's the sixth rookie because he retired from Formula One, but then he
Oh, I
came
see.
back and
Yeah, yeah.
he did the testing with the rookies, so now they call him the sixth rookie.
I gotcha. But
So
is there five? Bortoleto,
yeah, there's
Dillon.
5.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Bortoleto, Dillon,
So
Kimmy.
excluding Alonso,
Fair.
best rookie, I think we can both easily say it's going to be Kimi.
Yeah, I agree.
Whether
He's on
based
the
on
best
skill or
team.
not, he has the best car, he has the best team, he's going to
Hmm.
perform the best. Or
Yeah.
besides maybe Liam.
Are they counting Liam as a rookie? I
I
mean, he's
think yeah,
raced like 10 races.
maybe. I'm not
But
sure
even still, I
actually.
don't think he's on the best team anymore. I don't think Red Bull's the best team.
No, I don't think so
Especially when
either.
they build their car just for Max. So like at least
Right.
Kimmy's getting a fair shot at his team. Like they're building it for
Yeah.
Kimmy and George. But
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
Kimmy, it is.
Pretty
I
obvious. I
think.
think it's gonna be Kimmy.
Cool. What's next?
The next one um are some crazy predictions, just shot in the dark, throwing it out the wall predictions. I
Oh,
want you to say yours first.
oh, simple. I think because of Adrian Newey being signed by Aston Martin, and he is a no-nonsense guy. I think Lawrence Stroll, the the owner and the billionaire, is going to fire his son, Lance Stroll, the worst driver on the grid. And I hope it happens. I'm rooting for it. I will become the Aston Martin Tifosi if that happens. What about you?
I I think well, first of all, I'd like to say I don't think Lance is I don't know that it's fair to say that he's the worst one on the grid, but I could see that happening. And I don't think that Lance, from what I've seen, Lance doesn't seem it feels more to me that it might be a hobby for Lance more than his dream. So I don't I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if that prediction happens. But my prediction is that this one is crazy. Saying it out loud seems ridiculous, but I'm saying Carlos is at least getting a podium this year, if not a win.
Oh, sorry, are you hedging? Are you saying he's getting a podium or are you saying he's getting a win?
I'm saying that I think he might get a win, but I'm going to back off a little and I'm going to say it's a podium
Okay.
instead.
All right.
But
Well, I would absolutely take that.
I really think, he is in a Williams, but, you know, he got number one in the first practice. He's been doing really good.
Oh,
I
he got
mean,
numbered. He got
other
pipped at
teams,
the end. He got pipped at the end by Lando. Lando got number one,
right.
but he got. I mean,
Okay, got it.
he was still fastest of the midfield
Fastest for
by a long shot.
preseason,
Yeah.
also for preseason, who's fastest. And I think that, with the right racing conditions, he he'd easily be able to get at least a podium.
Yeah, I really, really hope you're right. I really hope you're right. I actually think it's just going to be hard for the anybody other than the top four to get points this year because they're just not spending a lot of money on development this year when next
Yeah.
year's a regulation change.
Hmm. Yeah.
But that could
We'll
be the
see.
reason why it happens because somebody like Mercedes or something might struggle and they say, you know what, we're not going to put money to try and fix in our car. We're going to put that money into next year. So that would be a,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. I really hope you're right, kid.
I hope so too.
All right, so
Um,
I've got Lance losing his seat, and you've got Williams. I hope both those come true. I really do.
yeah. Well, let's head to the end here, talk about predictions for this upcoming race that we'll talk about next week. I think for me, for the podium order, I'm saying Lando Norris, Lewis Hamilton, Charles Leclerc.
Wait, so that's first, second, third, or third, second, first?
First, second, third.
First, second, third. You've got Lando. Let me make this note here. Lando, Lewis, Charles. Okay.
Yeah.
I, I've got on first place. I've got Lando. Second place. I've got Max Verstappen. Because he has to get on the podium somehow. And
Right.
then I got Lewis. I actually got Lewis, although I'm sticking with my predictions because just so you guys know, our intent was to have this out before practice, but Charles was the fastest in FP2. You
Yeah.
probably missed that, but he was the fastest, and I think he's going to be really hard to catch. So, but
Yeah.
sticking with my predictions, I've got Lando, Max, and Lewis.
I'm not sure if I would put Lewis there anymore based off of the practices, but you're right.
Yeah,
Staying
he kind
true.
of struggled. Yeah.
I put Lewis as second. We have another bold prediction. Completely forgot about these.
Well,
Last bold
the other one
prediction
was for the season, right?
for the
The other
season.
prediction
Yeah,
was,
these
yeah,
were,
yeah. This is for just
yeah.
the race.
Okay, perfect.
This is just for this race.
So for this race, my bold prediction is that Carlos will get at least seventh. I'm not sure if that's really bold. He's doing pretty good in practices and in preseason testing, but I said that he's going to
I'll
get at
give you
least
credit
seventh.
for it. I'll give you credit for bold prediction.
Thank you. Thank you. And oh, this one is just, I threw this one out there. I don't want to jinx it, but I said George Russell might crash. I thought I'd throw a little something in there. We'll see if it happens.
Yeah, well, Kimmy's more likely to crash, I think. But man, Oliver Berman last night, holy cow. I hope this
Oh
car
my
gets
gosh,
turned around.
yeah. I
All right.
That was
So
wearisome.
my crazy bold prediction for the Australian Grand Prix is that Aston Martin will not get points. So for those of you who don't know, that's outside of 10th place, so 11th through 20th. I don't think they're going to get points. I think they're going to struggle for points all year. If I were to make another bold prediction for the season, I would think that maybe they don't even finish fifth, which is kind of where they've been locked into for the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe Williams will get fifth this year. I hope that they do.
I do too. Williams, Alpine, Haas, I take all of it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So
Well,
we're gonna. Oh, were you gonna wrap it up? Or am I gonna wrap it up? We can edit
we
that
can wrap it up together.
out. Okay. We're going to try and do
That
this once a week, and before every race, we'll give our predictions for the next race and our review of the last race. We're going to try and keep it an American spin on it, with helping people become bigger fans. So press and tickle the like button and smash the subscribe or whatever they say. I'll let Natalie say better than I do.
yes, all of those things. Comment down below, all of that. But yeah, it was great. This is a great first episode. I'm really excited for the rest of the season, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
See ya,
Bye,
ciao.
guys. See you.